Imagine you're the victim of a serious crime, as serious as rape or child grooming, and you receive a letter telling you that the perpetrator who harmed you is going to be let out of prison early. Appallingly, this is the experience right now for thousands of victims of crime, including some of the most serious crimes imaginable, thanks to the changes that have been made to our sentencing laws by this Labour government, helped by the Liberal Democrats. Before the Minister and Labour MPs, as he did, tells us it's a result of prison overcrowding, I want every member of this House to be crystal clear about the actual choice this government is making. The last Labour government released 80,000 prisoners early. The last Conservative government also operated early release programmes, as this government has. That's not new, but these schemes excluded serious sexual offenders. Do Labour MPs really want to tell their constituents they support the early release of rapists and child groomers when there are other existing schemes that could be used to avoid that? I want to pay tribute to grooming gangs campaigner Fiona Goddard, who, like many others, refused to be silent when she received her letter. Fiona's abusers were sentenced to between 16 and 20 years in prison in 2019. Now she says the justice she got in that courtroom is being snatched away from her, and she's right. What did the Labour government say to the journalist raising her case? That the most serious offences would be excluded. Labour told a victim of rape, sexual assault and grooming that her offenders weren't serious enough to be excluded from early release. Disgraceful. And here we are, just a matter of weeks away from these serious offenders coming out, and we still don't know how many are being released and what crimes they've committed. So thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for granting this urgent question. This government cannot cover up what it's doing to victims any longer. They must tell us now, today, how many criminals, how many rapists and child groomers are going to be released early, when they're going to be released, and exactly what crimes they've committed. I'm confident when the public understand what is being done in their names, there'll be an outcry. And our new incoming Prime Minister will have a choice: to act in the interest of rapists and paedophiles, or to stand up for victims. What's it going to be?
I've listened to the Honourable Member on this issue a lot. I must once again remind him of his record in government and why the Sentencing Act was an absolute necessity to keep the criminal justice system functioning. Prisons, when we came to office, were at bursting point. 500 prison places added in 14 years. 10,000 offenders released by the last government, largely in secret. And that's the key point, Mr. Speaker, because he's asked quite rightly and understandably questions about how the scheme is going to be delivered, how victims are going to be kept informed. There is a choice. There is no alternative that has been offered by the opposition to the prison crisis that they created. There is a choice. Strict...
Can I just help? But we don't need to worry about what their position is. The question is to yourself and about what you're going to do, as I've also got a constituent that got a letter.
Mr. Speaker, let me be very clear. The Sentencing Act, which received royal assent in January, sets out some provisions which are coming into effect in September. We are determined to ensure that victims will receive due notification in good time, not just because we believe there is a responsibility of government to let them know, but because we know that victims need to have a role to play in the licence conditions that we set. It's absolutely vital that victims' voices are heard. That's why we've already begun communication with victims groups and indeed victims who are party to the victim contact scheme. And we will go further and make sure that all those that are party to the scheme receive precise information on their case. Not just because we want to let them know, Mr. Speaker, but because we want to hear from them to ensure that when we put in the most robust licence conditions in the community, victims' voices are at the heart of the decisions we make. That's absolutely right. And that's not what happened under the Conservative government.